What is a superstar? Is he a high flyer that captivates fans in arenas across the country, or a hyper-efficient skillsman who's mastered the art of basketball? Are superstars stat sheet stuffers or glory hunters, or a combination of both? Is it a popularity thing? There's give or take 450 players in the NBA. Among this tight-knit fraternity is a class of elites who soar above their peers, reaching the clouds and beyond. Admission into this club requires a stellar resume of continued excellence. All-star appearances, all-NBA selections, MVP, scoring title, all defensive selections, defensive player of the year. They come in all shapes and sizes. The NBA is lifted on the backs of its star players. There is no Jason Tatum and Luca Donuch without Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. When the league was on the verge of bankruptcy, these two reinvigorated the dying brand with their historic matchups, which became can't-miss television. Stars bring eyes and attention to this beautiful game and are responsible for turning the league into a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. Having a star to serve as the ambassador of your organization has become a necessity in today's game, and for the unfortunate bunch who lack such adornment, their future is often bleak and unenvious. Such is the case for the Miami Heat. Tyler Herro is a lot of things, the most prominent being an all-star. The 25-year-old completed his 6th season of professional basketball, averaging 24 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, and 5.5 assists per game on 61% true shooting. He amped up his rate of fire north of the arc while maintaining his percentage. Fantastic numbers across the board from the Kentucky Wildcat. Herro finally took the leap that Miami's future was hinging on. Through years of rigorous development and smart operation, the Heat had amassed a battle-tested rotation of nomads and a core featuring 3 All-Stars. Every man had bought into the Godfather Pat Riley's Heat culture philosophy. The Heat's third option was Bam Adebayo, another Kentucky alumni whose name has consistently been in the annual ballots for Defensive Player of the Year. Adebayo has earned the title of the most versatile defender in the league, having the ability to guard 1 through 5, which is a claim that's thrown around loosely these days. But Adebayo is the rare exception who has demonstrated this skill in practice on numerous occasions. Miami's second option was none other than Tyler Herro. Entering the league as a confident shooting guard with great composure in the heated moments, Herro showed promise early. In regards to Herro's ascension, nothing, or no one, has prepared him more than the man he shadowed since he was drafted. The man who's top 5 in points, assists, and steals per game in the franchise's history. The man who holds the record for most points in a playoff game as a Heat. The man who was beloved by the fan base for his never-say-die attitude and adherence to the aforementioned philosophy. The first option of the Miami Heat, their superstar, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy G Buckets, the G stands for Gets, was Miami's general. He commanded his troops to battle, overcoming insurmountable odds in the past 5 seasons. Butler shined in the postseason, leading the Heat to the NBA Finals in 2020, facing the LA Lakers inside the bubble, and in 2023 versus Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. Without him, this team would be an afterthought. Despite their struggles in the regular season, all Miami had to do was sneak their way into the dance, and Butler would do the rest. His teammates had complete faith in him. Pat Riley selected him to be the harbinger of Miami's championship chase because he was the embodiment of Heat culture. Jimmy Butler was the beating heart of the Miami Heat. So what happens when you lose your heart? What can live without a soul? That's a question the organization must find the answer to. Going into 2025, Jimmy Butler desired a contract extension. He believed he was worth the max amount given his faithful devotion to this franchise. But Pat Riley ran Dwayne Wade, Mr. Miami-Dade County himself, out of town because he preferred to pay Hassan Whiteside. There was a fat chance in hell the Showtime coach would disperse $112 million to a 35-year-old with injury concerns. And if there's one thing we've learned about Butler throughout the course of his career, it's don't play with that man's money. This conundrum deteriorated Butler's relationship with the front office. In his own words, it stripped him of his joy to play basketball. So Butler quit on his team. He sandbagged his remaining outings as a Heat. His disruption on the court and his laments to the press forced the Godfather's hand. At the trade deadline, off he went out west to team up with Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. Left behind was a collection of unrealized dreams, a torn fan base, and teammates who felt betrayed. Miami became the latest destination on Butler's scorched path, alongside the Bulls, Wolves, and Sixers. The home where he was meant to rest permanently was no more. Jimmy Butler is gone. His days in Miami are over. But the Miami Heat aren't over. They just acquired Andrew Wiggins from the Warriors in this swap, and they're still fighting for a play-in position. Lucky for them, they rattled off just enough wins to close out the season, and then they miraculously survived the play-in tournament, becoming the first 10th seed to reach the postseason. It felt as though a rose had bloomed from the fresh mud on a bloodied battlefield. The Miami Heat did not want to die, but the Cleveland Cavaliers brought them back to reality. In their first round matchup versus a dominant Cleveland squad, Miami was painfully outmanned. They had no answer for Cleveland's numbered attacks or their suffocating defense, and went out pitifully in a series sweep. There is no easy answer for the Miami Heat. They've overcome plenty of hurdles. Triumphing adversity is a key component of their identity, but this time around, the wound is too crushing to bear. This unit is too good to lose out, and a magic lamp short of winning it all. The Miami Heat have reached basketball purgatory. They can be seated alongside the Phoenix Suns, the Sacramento Kings, the Chicago Bulls, and the Dallas Mavericks. Superstar Luca Doncic's weight concerns and a $345 million price tag in the upcoming summer were irredeemable complications for the Dallas Mavericks. His 5 consecutive seasons on the All-NBA first team, or his MVP finishes, or his finals appearance would not charm general manager Nico Harrison. 99% of managers would consider drafting Luka Doncic a divine blessing, but Harrison was that 1% hell-bent on ridding his team of Doncic and his gluttonous antics. So Harrison ensured that his name and legacy would forever live on in the annals of infamy by orchestrating the most mind-numbing, baffling, and foolish trade in the history of the NBA, and perhaps all of organized sports. What followed this typhoon was a heartbreaking melancholy that swept the entire city of Dallas. The glamour and jubilation of Luka Magic on Showtime in Hollywood contrasts starkly with the reality of a post-Luka Mavericks. If the Miami Heat are destined to flame out with the loss of their superstar, then the Dallas Mavericks had their heart ripped out of their chest and tossed to the ground. Second-guessing paying your most valuable asset is the first step towards the destruction of your organization. But to show these front offices some leniency, NBA contracts are really expensive nowadays. Kobe Bryant in his MVP season was making $19 million a year, and that's $10 million less than what Jeremy Grant's taken home this season after averaging 14 on 37% a night. But I'm not one to pocket watch. This is merely an observation into the growth of the league. Grant deserves what he's worth because he doesn't dictate the contract he's given. All a player can do is play ball and put pen to paper. So when a Pat Riley or a Nico Harrison refuses to cough up, someone else will swoop in and provide that compensation. Mike Dunleavy did not hesitate to offer Butler the extension he craved. While Butler and the Warriors are in war times against the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Miami Heat are stuck with the decaying core, which arises difficult choices to be made in the offseason regarding the future. Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo will not lead this team to an NBA championship by themselves. The fan base knows, the front office knows, the players know. Miami's deck isn't stacked, but they have two cards they can play. One, they have players on the books who are easy to package contractually. Two, they have Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo. There's plenty of teams, from the calculated to the very desperate, who would employ their services. The NBA is also the most chaotic it's ever been. There's no telling who will get moved in the offseason. After Luca Donuch's transfer, no one is truly untouchable. And for emerging teams with aspirations of lifting the Larry O'Brien, Miami's duo is enticing. Adebayo is a 27-year-old two-weight big man who's more than capable of anchoring a championship team. And Herro is a pure bucket who's poised and experienced. The Godfather's reluctance to move either is the reason behind the downfall of the Jimmy Butler era. But the house is burning and the hour is approaching. Pat Riley must step into the fire. Earth-shattering rumors involving the acquisition of former MVPs have been in circulation, but there isn't a single player in the NBA who hasn't been in a trade rumor concerning the Miami Heat. The forecast in Miami has never looked so bleak. This practically forces the organization to shake things up. Moves will only be made when the man in charge is willing to play ball. Thanks for watching.
And so it's over. He's done. I wish him well. Good luck to him. And I hope deep down in his heart somewhere, he wishes us well too.